All right, we're going to shift gears. Now we're going to talk database. You saw our number one source of sellers has come from our database. And so I thought it would be perfect to bring up the person who essentially created our database value proposition. We've updated it. We're going to share with you our first 3 or 4 months of the year, I believe. And we're going to make sure you walk out of here with knowing some ideas and things you can do to add value to your database. Because for me, I never thought in a million years that database would be our number one source of listings. In fact, it was always, expireds and for sale by owners and cold calls and things like that. Until I had enough coaches through the years that say, Jeff, no, database. So then, as you guys know, for those of you who've been following us for a while, over the last 5 years, we've made a major shift to where it's now our number one source of sellers, where it was never our number one source of sellers. So how do we get listings from our database? We have a very strong database value proposition plan. And so instead of me standing up here sharing with you what someone else has put together, I've asked Taylor Kerrigan to join me back up here to share with you the work that she's doing with our agents, as she's been working with them over the last year and a half on helping them get more listings from their database. So please join me in welcoming back to the stage, Ms. Taylor Kerrigan.
It's tricky to rock around, that's right on time, it's tricky. Tricky.
Huh? Yeah.
All right, hey guys. This is my favorite portion because we all know that database is the ability for us to connect with our clients. And one of the things that I see most often is that agents follow a database plan from time to time, but the number one challenge is they're not consistent with it. And so we set out to have a goal that we never want to be those agents. And so I think it's been, what, Jeff, about 2 years since we created the first initial database plan?
Yes. Well, before we had, we created the 4x2x1, we created a formula that we've been working off of. But yes, it's been 2 years since we've been following this.
Yes. So we put together this database plan, and my goal with it was to, if an agent wanted to call a client in the month of February, okay, here's what you're going to call and tell them. If you're going to email a client in the month of February, here's what your email needs to be. And before I get into it, if it's okay with you, I asked permission from Jeff to tell a quick story about why, or a life moment that I had where I realized database is important, and the way that we make people feel helps determine who they're going to work with, right? We say at Glover U all the time, people make decisions on how you make them
feel.
Right.
So before you get into that, can we just, because if I'm in the audience, I might be wondering, wait a minute, you guys have taught us it used to be 4x2x1x12.
I'm going to get into that.
Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Because I might be wondering, is there a new one now? So perfect. Thank you.
Absolutely. So first, let me tell you the story. So for those of you that know me, you know that outside of my job, I am very passionate about animal rescue. We have an animal rescue in Michigan that we rehome about 1,200 animals a year. We've got about 400 volunteers, and I am one of the co-founders of that animal rescue. Yes, thank you. So I adopted this dog a couple years ago. Her name was Lil Mama. No, I did not pick that name. That was her name that her previous owners had for her. I named her Chloe when I would take her to vet appointments because I was so embarrassed that they would call and say, Lil Mama's mama. So I had this fake name, but then my cover was blown because they would call her Chloe and she wouldn't respond. So I had to go with the name Lil Mama. And I actually think I have a picture of Lil Mama, if we can throw that up on the screen. Don't kill me, Jeff.
Okay.
That's Lil Mama. And so I had Lil Mama for about 4 years.
Well played. So I owe you one.
Yeah, that's okay. But hey, we're on the last half of the day, so we're good. All right. So I had Lil Mama, and I had her for about three years before she got diagnosed with pancreatitis. And I did absolutely everything I could to try to save her. She was in the hospital for about a month. I did everything I could. We couldn't save her. And so when she passed away, I had a food subscription for her, which by a show of hands, who here is familiar with the company Chewy? Okay. So Chewy is a company that you can order your food from, your pet supplies from, whatever from, and it comes on auto subscription. It's amazing. They have a great customer experience. And so I had my food set up for Mama on Chewy. And so when she passed away, I realized, oh, I have to go and cancel this. And so I went on their website to go and cancel the subscription. And one of the questions when it asks why you're canceling is pet passed away. And so I press that button, I submit the cancellation, I figure I'm all good. And the next day I hear a really loud knock, knock, knock on my door. And so I'm like, who's at my front door? I'm the one on the Ring camera, by the way, who's like watching that person walk up.
Yep.
And I'm like, who is knocking on my door? I open up this door to the biggest bouquet of flowers that I've ever seen. And there were a few people that I told that Mama passed away, but it was literally like 2 or 3 days before that. And so I'm like, who's sending me these flowers? And so I look at this huge bouquet and I read the card, and it was from Chewy. And they were sending their condolences for my pet passing away. And in that moment, I thought to myself, did they have to do that? No. I'm one of, thousands of customers. But what did they do by sending me that bouquet of flowers and showing me that they care? They got a customer for life. And so in that moment, from that experience, I realized as real estate agents, we can model our businesses after other companies that are successful with how they retain their clients. And so I looked at the entire Chewy experience and I said, okay, I'm going to do that same thing for our clients because I know that people make decisions on how you make them
Feel.
so if I can make them feel a certain way and I can show them that I care, well, then I'm going to retain that business. And so from now, I have another dog. There's a new picture, if you were going to get that one up there. Once we have Lil Mama, we now have Big Papa, which, yes, I did pick that name, and I am very proud of that one. So now Big Papa is a customer of Chewy, and all of our subscriptions and food that we buy through the animal rescue is through Chewy. So by doing that and building that relationship with me, they retained a client for life that buys hundreds of thousands of food from them every single year. I share with you that story because as we talk about database, we can accomplish the same. We have to make our clients feel a certain way. So I'm going to walk you through the database plan, and to Jeff's point, yes, we do still have the 4 by 4 by 1 by 12 by 12 by 17 by whatever. It's too long of an algorithm. I'm not that great at math anymore. So we do follow that algorithm, but here's what I want you to do. Every single month, you need to be sending at least one item of value to your clients. Now, if you're already doing one, I encourage you to update it to 2, okay? And that could be emails, that can be texts, that can be calls. We're going to show you February, March, and April of the database plan. But whatever you're doing right now, you have to step it up another notch because every single every single client or you have in your database, they know another realtor. And the way that they will decide who to work with, it's the agent that provides the most value. And so when we go through this database plan, I want you thinking about is what you're sending your clients right now actually something of value? And we determine value by, if I get this email, does it improve my life or do I care about it, right? You always talk about the roll your clocks back email, right? Those are so obsolete. We don't use those anymore. So if it's okay with you, let's get through the plan, and I promise I will be fast.
Yes, you have about 7 minutes.
Great, love it. This is the getting back part, I guess. All right, February. So you'll see that there's a checklist for every single section. I'm just going to go to the next one just for sake of time. So when we talk about call.
Well, no, you're going to be able to take a picture. The first one was just an overview.
Yeah, that was just overview.
Yeah.
This is
the same thing. It's just explaining it.
Sorry,
So
I know I got some analyticals in the room.
You want a picture of this, not what was the cover. The cover had nothing.
Okay. So if you're going to call them, instead of just calling and saying, hey, this is your local realtor, I was just looking to see if you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell real estate, I challenge you to, once again, call them with an item of value. The men in the room, I know that sometimes you forget to make those Valentine's Day reservations for your spouse or significant other. Be the realtor who's got them covered. So instead, what I encourage our agents to do is call your clients and say, hey, John, I know Valentine's Day is coming up. Do you already have your reservation for you and Rebecca? He's giving me the thumbs up. If not, I booked a couple extra at that brand new restaurant right in downtown Detroit. Would you like me to assign one of them to you?
There's no way you have yours set up. Yeah, get out of here.
No, Rebecca set it up for them, okay? So when we're talking about, again, value, it's still a contact. It's still a conversation with them. It's just now something that they see a value, and you don't want to be that person that when they see their phone ringing and they see that it's you, they avoid that call, right?
It's mind share.
Yep. So the event is the same exact thing. It's, the duplication of the call. And then event, Valentine's Day pop by, we always encourage our agents. And again, we do this in the 75 Hard program. If you don't have an appointment, I'm encouraging you to get in front of someone still. That means popping by a past client's house, dropping off an item of value. Some of our agents, actually, if you look in their trunk, they don't have planners like Jeff. They have Popeyes, things that they can drop off to their clients if they see that they're nearby. Okay. I'm like, Kate, how's these things work? Okay. This is the VIP box. You have a Pizza, my heart. So if you take the Systems of Real Estate course, I actually give you all 12 months of this database plan. And one of the things you heard Tracy Roberts talk about it yesterday on stage, VIP boxes are a way to show your clients that you're thinking about them. I love subscription boxes. I subscribe to anything and everything. My mailman is always at my front door dropping off one of them. I decided, hey, if I get joy out of this, and if Big Papa gets joy out of his Bark Box, how would others get joy getting a gift from their local realtor saying, hey, I'm just thinking about you? So this is one that is actually one of our clients' most favorite. I personally hate it because I have to go buy all the ragu, pepperoni slices, and pizza crust, but they love it. And they'll take pictures of it. They'll take pictures of the pizza that they made with their family, and they tag you in it.
Yeah.
So that's a huge one that we talk a lot about in the course.
Let's look at March.
Oh, you don't want this postcard?
Well, you can show the postcard.
So for Valentine's Day, if you notice when we talk about postcards and being infotaining, we talk a lot about, instead of just saying, only a free home valuation, also mix in things about the local community. So the 4 best places to try this Valentine's Day. I met a great couple from Salt Lake City. I apologize that your name's escaping me at this moment. You guys did the Christmas Tree Farms email or postcard. And you talked about how you were getting a bunch of business from it already. That's exactly what we're attempting to accomplish. Because if we also come from value, but also show that we are community based and we know what's going on in the community, naturally you're gonna build those connections at a higher level. Email example is the same. Let's do March, okay? So March is an event March is a month that we always will host or prepare to host a client event. Why do we do that? Because in Michigan, our busy selling season starts in April, May, June, July, right? So when you're thinking about when your busy season starts and where you're going to see the most of your clients doing transactions, think about hosting a client event anywhere from like 45 to 90 days before that.
Yeah, 45 to 90 days before some of your bigger listing months in your market.
Yep.
So you're top of mind at the time they're preparing, not the mistake a lot of agents make is they'll do a client event in like May or June. Those are your biggest listing months. They've already made their mind up of who they're listing with at that point.
For those of you that do Easter egg hunts as part of your client events, Easter is in March this year, so make sure you plan accordingly. VIP boxes, this is another one. We wish you a lotto luck this St. Patrick's Day. This is one of 100%, without a doubt, one of our clients' favorite VIP boxes. All we do is slide a $1 lottery ticket in there and we mail it out to a bunch of clients.
So it's not a box, it's just
it's a card.
It's a card.
Yeah, so we do some lower cost options. We do some higher cost options. I actually had a client for our Christmas one, which is very similar to this. They won $1,000. So that was absolutely super cool for that agent to be able to post that on their social media.
A lot more value in $1,000 than a set your clocks back email.
Yep. Let's do, so the spring letter is one that we talk a lot about. This is a great mailer. It's just like the year in review letter for those of you that are familiar with that. There's a couple parts to it. I want you to write this down. In your spring letter, you should always be accomplishing number 1, what's going on in the real estate market right now. People want to know, interest rates up, how's that affect things, da, 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 da. Second part is how are you performing, what's going on with you, right? Are you in a new market? Are you servicing a new territory? Did you just hire someone new? And then the third is how you gave back, okay? And if you see in this example.
So what's going on in your market, what's going on with you, your personal life, your business, and how you gave back.
And in this example, we also included an invite to a client event that we host. Again, in the Systems of Real Estate course, I teach you how to host client events. I've done it now for 10 years. I know what works, I know what doesn't.
Yep.
That's an email example for you. And then here's the last month. This is the month of April. So anytime you're hosting a client event, whether you believe the client is going to attend or not, it's a requirement on our team that you call and invite every single person. Because again, we're contacting them and we're providing an item of value, and it's an excuse to have a conversation with them. With that also being said, the month after the event, we are calling and either saying thank you for attending or sorry we missed you. And so we're really good at creating FOMO, fear of missing out, which means that we take tons of pictures during our events. I also teach you how to do that in that course. And then we use those photos and we blast them everywhere so that way people know what they missed. And then obviously it creates that fear that they don't want to miss again, okay? There's another VIP box there for you. April showers, bring May flowers. And then I think this is the last slide. This is the farming postcard. Again, could we just talk about how, spring has sprung, the real estate market is hot? Sure. Instead, we came up with 5 ways to improve your home's value this spring. Again, infotaining, value. So the 2 things that I want you to take away from showing this plan is, number 1, if you're gonna succeed with database at a high level, you have to be consistent. Write that down. You have to be consistent. That means you don't do something in January and then again you touch them in April. You do something in January, you do something in February, you do something in March, you do something in April.
So we're looking for at least 1 item of value per month. And if you're already doing 1 item of value per month,
if you want to double down
Yep.
on that source, which everyone should, then
Yep.
we're doing 2. And then the second thing I want you to take away is you have to be the agent who, again, is providing value. Look at your database plan, and if you're not rating those things like at a 9 or a 10 and you're impressed by it, don't do it. It takes so much energy from you. It's just not worth it if you're not going to get the return that we want from it. And if you are overwhelmed by database, I teach you it for 16 weeks.
So if they have questions on anything you just went through or systems of real estate, just come see you at the Glover U booth.
I'm always at the Glover U booth.
She'll be at the booth. All right, Taylor Kerrigan. There we go.
Bye.